Hey gamers, welcome to the Part-Time Gamers Club, where we game part-time but support gaming all the time. For those of you tuning back in, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the crew. Alongside me is Gerard, and on today's episode, we're going to be discussing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and Dragon Ball Daima. Let's get to it.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball, most notably the latest of Dragon Ball, which is Dragon Ball Daima, which is a new show produced by Netflix, if I remember correctly, and also Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero, which comes out at the time of this recording, Friday, October 11th. We're recording this prior to the release of this game, so we do not know if this will be received well, but it looks like it is being accepted well because of the high amount of pre-orders that we have for the game. But we'll be talking about our ideas of and experiences with the Dragon Ball games, Dragon Ball anime, and our hopes and dreams for the Dragon Ball going forward. But let's start off with our experiences with what basically our channel is, the game. So Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero is a spiritual successor, if not a direct successor, to the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi games that came out in the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 in the mid 2000s, the late 2010s release that came to the game. Very highly beloved games, aka like cult classics at some points. But what are your experiences with the GL? Because I know my experiences, but what about yours?
I just want you to know it's sparking, not sparkling.
Sparkling. Sparking.
Sparking. Anyway, no, I've been playing like Dragon Ball games. I remember I used to play these ones way back in the day from like PS1s that Steve got, that they were like Japanese imported ones. They weren't like the mainstream ones we have today, like the ones that we got later on with Budokai and all that. But I was big into those. I've played a lot of them. Like I said, I don't think I've played one since probably PS3, Xbox 360 days. Probably was the last time I've played a Dragon Ball related game. But I'm kind of intrigued to this one. I'll be honest. There's a lot of hype around it, and obviously with the new show coming up, it might intrigue me to get into a Dragon Ball game again. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm honestly surprised by how much hype it has around it. To be honest, I didn't think the pre-orders being outselling Call of Duty for PS5 is crazy to me.
Uh, I don't know about the pre-orders for Call of Duty. Like it is surprising. It's like I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I will say that I am not surprised on how highly regarded this is. I do know every time a new Budokai came out, a lot of people rejoiced. A lot of uh, people look forward to those games, and 3D fighters are hard to come by usually. And I don't say that weirdly like disrespectful for like RLR fighting games and things like that, like Tekken or stuff like that. But like there's just not a lot of games out there that provide what Budokai does, which is a just nonstop or like a fighter in 3D in the universe of Dragon Ball. That's like probably the coolest thing a lot of people look forward to. Everyone wants to play Goku, everyone plays Trunks or Vegeta, things like that. Some
Mhm.
people want to go be the super villain, be Brawly or Jiren. But they are games that have a literal cult. I don't want to go literal. They have a large fan base that love these games and will play these games nonstop. And I played Budokai Tenchi growing up. These games are old, and it doesn't make you feel any better or for worse. I believe the first Budokai game came out like 2004 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
It
I'm
was definitely in like late 2000s.
2002.
Early
2002.
2000. I know it went, but wasn't the most recent one I think Dragon Ball Z Fighter or something like that? That
But
was the
that's not a
most recent
Budokai
one.
game. That's a 2D fighting game. It's literally a fighting game.
Z Fighters?
Z
That's a
Fighters is a fighting game.
oh snap! I didn't know that. See, I haven't played them. I haven't really checked
Yeah,
them
yeah,
out.
it shows a lot. It shows a lot. Now, what to be said about the Budokai series is that it has been there's a main trilogy, and that trilogy has a large gap between the three for years. So this is seeming to be a new successor in that kind of game style. But the question that I think everyone is going to have is, are they going to make another trilogy around Sparking? So like have Sparking 0, Sparking 1, Sparking 2 maybe. Just opinions.
Mhm.
But are they going to further along make more Budokai-like games in the future? And I do think Budokai, as you can see on the website, if you go to it, those games have been mostly single player, except for like 3. 3 was allowed a multiplayer as well, and now Sparking is going to have a multiplayer. And I know a lot of people loved the multiplayer aspect of it because you can create your own character and you were able to fight with putting moves together from like different Dragon Ball characters. So that is a great interest, but I don't know how they're going to. Are they going to continue Sparking Zero as a live service game, or are they going to do exactly what they did before, drop the servers once I start making a new game? I think the servers for the old Budokai might be still up, but I could be wrong about that. There's also other Dragon Ball games that are similar to Budokai, but they were online only aspects. So those games as well are, and forgive me, I keep saying this, like I don't know because I don't play the online version of the Budokai games. I haven't played a Dragon Ball game in a very long time. I'm more fluent in the Dragon Ball anime. But those games are live service games. Like, what is Bandai Namco's attention with this game? Are they going to continue as a series? Are they going to make it a live service game? There's a lot to be said here and a lot of answers that are probably out there. I just need to look for them. But like the idea is, what's their goal for this? And that's what I think a lot of players want to know. But I would bring up, and I did mention it, the anime Dragon Ball Daima that's coming out. And that's coming out on Netflix, and it's going to be a
Later
worldwide,
this month also.
yeah, a worldwide release at the same time. So it is going to be a short. It's not going to be as long as like the actual Dragon Ball Z series or the Dragon Ball series.
Super.
Yeah.
Super, yeah.
But it is, and if you don't know, going to be a like a little short series of collection of episodes to go over the common, like basically a new storyline with a young Goku. I say
And
young Goku, but
they
Goku
made them
child.
kids again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
GT all over
Vegeta.
again.
Yeah. Maybe a better version, hopefully.
But I mean, a lot of people love GT. A lot of people hate GT. GT is just very
It's a lot
divisive.
more. Yeah, it's more.
But the question is like, and forgive me, do know that Akira Toriyama has passed, and we are hopefully I remember that I don't make it too long, but it might be a minute long because I want a moment of silence for him. He's expressed he's innovated our animes and has created a lifelong connection for a lot of people in Dragon Ball, and unrealistically made some challenges for people who want to bodybuild to look like Goku. But not all of us can look like Goku, okay? Not all of us can.
I don't know.
But yeah, he created and is a very influential person in our lives and deserved the respect. The question is that this is airing after his repertoire of his things, and if Dragon Ball will continue without him as like stories, like making new animes, new spin-offs, things like that, because it is beloved. Dragon Ball is a beloved series, and it will be sad, and you will miss Toriyama or Sensei. But will it continue without him? Is the real question that everyone has in mind. What are your thoughts, Gio? Do they continue Dragon Ball spin-offs, series? Do they keep using Goku? Do they make a new main protagonist? What do they do without Toriyama Sensei?
I That's a tough question, honestly. Now, I didn't think. I wish you prepared me that you were gonna ask something like that.
No, I need to throw curveballs.
Yeah, I see that. Honestly, knowing how influential the series has been, especially for kids of our generation, and probably the last, probably I'd say Gen Z's generation was probably big on it too. I don't know how the younger generations follow Dragon Ball series. I know it was very big me growing up, Gen X, So I don't know if you touch the series honestly without him, unless the kids are following it and it's a strong following from the younger generation right now. Then sure, I think you take at least a chance at it. If maybe Toriyama left, some ideas on the table to his creative group, like there was still some plans that they had. If there was something still in the works or ideas that they wanted to go with, sure. But if you're gonna just try to do something from scratch, I think you leave it as is. Because like you said it, there's so many episodes. Like for any generation that wants to follow in the next, 20, 30 years, there's 200 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. There's 200 plus of Super. There's plenty of original Dragon Ball. And now with Dragon Ball Daima, I don't really think you have to. I think you can continue making video games. I think that's fine. But as far as adding to the series, I would, me personally, I think I prefer them not to touch it, leave it, because I don't want them to do something that like just stains it in a way.
Yeah, because we've had both sides of the coins before.
Hmm.
Um, we have Sailor Moon, good example, or not Sailor Moon, excuse me. That's the worst example. Berserk. There is like the creator died for Berserk, and we're just not going to get a continuation of that story, which is one of the like Berserk is one of the more influential animes that have a finale. Um,
Hmm.
and then we have other ones like the director. I forget the name of the manga. I believe can't remember name and Hunter Hunter. He's still sick. He's still alive. Well, that's been known. But he has told his wife, the creator of Sailor Moon, that if he were to die, to continue Hunter Hunter without him. So we have two sides of the coins, two different perspectives of like series should die with their creators, and then someone's like, I would like my creation to surpass my life expectancy.
Live on.
Yes.
Yep.
So there are two sides to this coin in every kind of argument, and neither are right because guess what? It's the same coin. So
Hmm.
this idea is very much like something every person needs to ask themselves, and whether or not they want any of their favorite medias to continue without their creators or not. Because again, at some points, some creations become too big that if the creator would die, people would still want it to finish, to continue, and get it to finality, or continue it indefinitely because some people have attached their entire personalities to that kind of community and culture. Dragon Ball is one of those very close things to have that though, because like I know people whose entire identities were off Dragon Ball, and I know kids
Hmm.
like I used to work at a board game store, and a kid who younger than me, like literal at the age, he was 18 at the time I was working with him. Big Dragon Ball fan, big Dragon Ball fan. And I was like, man, like I remember when that came out, my time when I was a kid, and it's still popular with the like kids and growing
Well,
up, and
Dragon
it's
Ball's
crazy.
80s. It's
Yeah,
80s.
yeah,
It's
it's
80s originally when it came out.
crazy.
How
So
like, and you know what I didn't know, or realize, shall I say, how big it is in Spanish countries. Spanish countries are one of the biggest fans of Dragon Ball. Like, and
I'm
it's
not
funny because
surprised.
us being Puerto
Hispanic,
Rican,
yeah.
but like I'm saying, like I didn't realize the South American countries were so big on it. It's not like just the Caribbeans
Dragon,
Spanish.
yeah.
It's huge.
Goku is Mr. Worldwide. All right, take
Mhm.
that. Give that. Mr. Pitbull needs to give up his title. Give that to Goku. Okay.
Hmm.
Now it is funny because and this is gonna be one of my last points I want to bring up
Hmm.
is that Dragon Ball Daima, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, are definitely new Dragon Ball things to add to Bandai's repertoire. But the question remains what their future is with the Dragon Ball series in gaming as well. Because I mentioned, should they continue the manga or the animes without Toriyama? But if they continue the video games, what kind of direction did they go into? Because they have Sparking Zero, which is going to be a Budokai like. Uh, they have fighters already, and I mentioned that's a fighting game. Do they have like some ideas of new Dragon Ball games to come out? Do they continue with having one fighting game, like a 2D fighting game, and then a 3D fighting game in Budokai?
I
Like
have a question. Do they have
what?
an open world
That
style
was
game?
the last Dragon Ball.
They did do one,
Which
right?
was not really an open world, but like it's similar. Uh, so
That's what
I'm
I
trying
was
to remember
wondering. If
like
they do something like open worldish that you could maybe make your own Dragon Ball character kind of deal and
yes, there. I mean
adventure around.
That's Dragon Ball's Budokai 3. You can make your own character, but uh,
Oh, okay.
uh, I believe it is, and I'm double checking to make sure I am not crazy. There's a game I've never heard of before that I'm interested in, but we'll look at that later. I believe it's Dragon Ball Xenoverse, which is the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard too. There's been a lot that's been released. I just didn't like you. I've been more bigger fan of the anime. Not that I didn't like the games. I just not a big fighting game fan, like or player. I
Yeah,
wouldn't say I'm not a fighting game fan, but player. Like it will take a lot for me to buy or invest into a fighting game. But I might. I definitely. I'm probably gonna get Sparking Zero because I feel like this might be. It's something memorable for the community, especially with the passing of Toriyama earlier this year. So I think I definitely pick it up just out of respect and being a fan for so long and what it's meant to us growing up being Dragon Ball fans.
this game is different than I thought it was.
Oh
So I'm sorry,
no, you.
I sidetracked by a game that I saw. It was apparently they made a survival Dragon Ball game,
Oh,
uh, but it's more like I'm gonna say a whole bunch of games. You know a whole bunch of. Uh, it's an asymmetrical action game. Have you ever played Dead by Daylight or know what Dead by Daylight is?
I know what it is.
Okay, similar to that, where you have like one person
Mm-hmm.
who, or excuse me, a number of players less than the survivors trying to track down survivor players to kill them. But the survivor players are trying to outrun and get away from the raiders players.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it is. I was like, that's an interesting concept, I guess. I guess. Like, I enjoy the concept. In the Dragon Ball universe, it feels a little weird, but I need to play the game to figure out if it's even good. But it's an online only, so it's weird. Okay.
Well, what would you like to see from them in the future if they continue making Dragon Ball games? I would think an open world type. If they don't have one already, people could correct me in the comments. I don't know.
I think
I'm just saying.
Xenoverse is open world enough, but I may be wrong on that. I know it's also technically considered a fighting game, but like the Xenoverse 2, if I remember correctly, was a like every area you needed to fly to, and there's like teleports to like areas, but you had to fly around to gather resources and stuff like that. And you
Yeah.
fought in the open world as well. Um,
Do you think
I
they
don't know
can
if
do
that's
an MMO?
in Dragon Ball though. Like,
I don't know. No, no. I was just throwing it out there. Like I'm trying to think, like, because I feel
I'll
like that'd be really insane. But
I
or
mean, I
maybe a
have to
MOBA.
think about it. A MOBA, yes. I do think they can do a MOBA, but the weird thing about MOBAs is like there has to be some kind of agreed upon camera angle, and they would have to
Mhm.
go with the Smite camera angle rather than like
Oh,
a
okay.
League
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
Legends camera angle for that kind of game.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Smite is like Smite 2 is like a successful game that came out,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Right. Is
uh, So they could go that angle for MOBAs. I'm still trying to think of how an MMO would work. I don't think it's possible, to be quite honest. Only
Well,
because, like,
you get different color outfits that is more better gear kind of deal. You stronger Super
for
Saiyan. I
what
don't
though?
know.
Like, you need to have a class system for MMOs to work.
Yeah, that's true.
And I can't I can't even think of a class system that works in
Well,
Dragon
Goku's
Ball.
a warrior. Goku's a DPS warrior.
Okay, tell me anyone else that isn't a warrior and that isn't a support character. Tell me
I
a
would say
third, a
Vegeta's more
second
like
tank character. Give me a tank character. How about that?
a character. What's his name? He came with Vegeta in the beginning.
Are you talking about
Bald-headed one.
I know you're talking about.
Oh, I can't think of his name.
Oh my god, I had it. I have it. It's just in front of my main. I feel bad.
I would put Raditz as like a scout, kind of like ranger, like.
I think he dies like in 2 seconds.
Piccolo's got to be like a healer or something, because he ain't very strong at fighting. Maybe a mage.
Maybe a mage. Maybe a mage.
Just thinking how you would do it.
God.
Well, can they do maybe even like what's that game? Oh, I know you're gonna hate me for saying it, but like a Overwatch class-based kind of deal style.
You mean a hero shooter?
Yeah.
Similar. I mean, what again? Shooting. Shooting is the main part of this.
They shoot freaking balls, you know.
Yeah, everyone can. Nappa. That's the name.
Nappa. Yes, Nappa. That's a tank. There you go.
I mean, he wasn't a tank. If anything, he was a beastmaster because he controlled
Android 16? He could be a tank?
Android 16, 17, and 18 were developed for, and you're thinking of 18.
18? You sure? The one that was green, he kind of had the outfit of Cell, but he wasn't.
I know it's either one of them. It's either 16 or 18 because it's like 17 is definitely one of the companions.
18 the girl?
18 is Krillin's.
Yeah, that's his girl.
Is it? Switch.
Yeah.
It's 17, 18.
17's the guy. 17's the guy.
Yeah.
And then 16 is 16's the tall.
I still disagree with you. Regardless of what the number is, I still disagree with you. I know who you're talking about regardless. I just know the numbers I'm not good at
right now. Don't play with me.
I disagree with that he's a tank only because like the three of them were made and manufactured to be warriors to fight Cell. So
it is Android 16. But yeah, all right. If you want to argue that he's not,
I mean, a tank is supposed to be a defensive person. That
what about
literally
like oh damn, what's it called, bro? Come on, you play this board game.
You can't tell me without context. You need to give me context. Also, like, we could sit here for like hours, but like, an MMO does not work with Dragon Ball. I just don't think it does unless you can have a class system that doesn't resolve around one of the three main.
Berserker. He could be a berserker.
Oh, sure. I said give me a tank. Berserkers are DPS classes.
We don't need tanks. We're not rated.
Okay. Now we're not an MMO anymore. We're not different game type or genre. All right. So I think that's it from us. I have nothing else.
Yeah, I like to see people's comments and memories and how Dragon Balls impact your lives, because I know it's been a major influence on ours and from my brother, my niece, Gerard, my cousin, all of us. My best friend Mike, he's not here right now, but he'll be next episode. All of us are big fans of Dragon Ball, so just tell us your memories, your fondest memories, and what it's meant to you.
Yes, and I also make sure you leave down a comment down below, and I would like to see a whole bunch of Fs in the chat for respect for Toriyama Akira. Very influential in our lives and has created a iconic franchise for us to get together and see the power of friendship firsthand and the power of basically only wanting to be more just to fight people. That's what Goku wants, just to fight
strength
people.
Greatness.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Part-Time Gamers podcast. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And follow us on our other social platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Discord. Links for those will be provided in the description. Thank you again. We will see you on the next episode of the podcast. And make sure you make some time for video games. Peace.